Hello, my name is Michael Polera. I am wanting to establish a project this year, and I'm looking for support here at youcaring.com/regenerativity. The word regenerativity is something that occurred to me as an essential need moving forward in the human endeavor, collective human endeavor. We not only need to protect habitat resources from increasing toxification, soil loss, and other degradations, but we need to learn how to restore and actually generate from the ground up habitat. And the good news is these are very doable skills and can be worked on a basis, on an individual and community basis. The work I hope to do is in support of the grandiose idea that human future generations have a right to habitat on this planet. I don't have kids, so I decided some while back that my input into the future generations would be to work for others and nurture others. And the essential question, according to Derrick Jensen, an author who's inspired me, is not how many degrees we have, or how many essays we've written, or how much money we make, or 1,000 other questions that are going to be irrelevant to future generations. The only question they're going to be concerned with is, do they have living habitat? Did we provide them with soil and with water to drink and to grow food? So, this essential task is actually a joyful one, and I'm very excited about participating in whatever small scale fashion I can. The first initiative is composting. There's community composting evolving around the country here in the U.S., and I'm very excited about that. I hope to join with a group like Garbage to Gardens in Portland, Maine, who do curbside recycling. Brilliant. Simple. Pick up kitchen scraps off the curb, just like we do recycling. Take it to their site and just allow it to compost for 6 months. Monitor it, temperature it, make sure pathogens are removed, and bring it back. If you wish, in Portland, you can get a bag of compost dropped off every week. I think it's every other week, actually. Love to intern with those folks. I would love to start something in Fort Wayne, and I intend to, just even on a small piece of property that can be purchased from the county. It's often industrial land. It's going to cost somewhere between $300 and $500, I estimate, where I can begin to do projects, collect compost, and build a few simple bins. It's all going to take a little vehicle and a trailer, and we can bring nutrients that are going into landfills right now and actually recycle them into the community. There's bags of organic vegetable scraps all over the town from every store that get thrown out every day into the trash, and in my mind they need to be brought back into the community, composted, monitored, temperatured, and it's very simple, and I would love to be a part of that. So on an individual scale, and then to advocate for community composting along the lines of the Garbage to Gardens template. Second piece of my project is sometimes it's known as humanure. I often use the euphemism holistic sanitation, which is actually very accurate. It's recycling human waste back into the nutrient system. Now, it doesn't need to be back into the food system, although apparently by many studies pathogens are completely removed by thermophilic or hot composting. But to build soil, to grow trees, to supply nutrients to reverse desertification around the edges of marginal land. This is something we tend to not like to talk about, right? It seems off-putting, but to me, there's so much potential in this, and people are already doing this. There's an organization, GiveLove.org, which is doing some great work around the world with simple container systems that are completely sanitary and odorless. Use fine cover material and build simple structures. Joseph Jenkins was one of the pioneers with this, the Humanure Handbook. And to me, when we're saving lives, the conversation becomes a lot less off-putting. The lives that can be saved are the kids around the world. Cholera and dysentery and drinking of toxic water where there are no sanitation systems is a big cause of childhood deaths for kids under 5. That is unnecessary, and so I'm very inspired to move forward with this work. I hope to get on with GiveLove.org as a volunteer this year on some of their projects. It's going to take a little travel because it's mostly out of the country. They have some projects in Africa coming up in February, I understand, and I don't know if I can get there by then. Visas and other issues and expense. So I'm hoping, if not there, to join them for some work in Asia or Latin America as they develop. These are systems that can be used in Puerto Rico right now, where the systems are down, energy systems are still being worked on. Like I say, completely sanitary, recycling nutrients, keeping the toxins out of the water systems is another huge benefit of this. Keeping the effluent that gets flushed into the water system and keeping the solid waste pathogens out of the water system as well is huge. It really needs to be done in the United States too. Places like Ocean Beach, right, where if it rains, people are advised not to swim for 72 hours after it rains because the effluent just floods into the ocean. And on one of the finest beaches in the world, Ocean Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches, total tourist spot, and yet you can't swim there for 3 days after it rains. You would think composting toilets at least would be considered, but you know, we're first worlders, so we don't think about these things. So I want to change that, begin that conversation, volunteer. I hope to get down to Nicaragua at least this winter and help some friends building composting toilets. They already have a great design and have built one, and they want to build another one, and so I'd love to be part of that project. And then in Tipitapa there is a GiveLove.org project already underway, and I'd love to connect with those people and learn how it's going. They're also looking to expand this winter and double the size of their operation, so if I can be involved in that in any way, I would love that too. So a little bit of travel there. And I'll move on to number 3, which is working with fungi, mycelium and mushrooms. Also, incredible potential for detoxification. I took a mycoremediation course last year with Fungi for the People, Jay Schindler and Val Nguyen, working on my pronunciation. Great teachers out there. And this year I just took a mushroom cultivation course, so I can actually get the projects underway. This can also be done on my Fort Wayne hypothetical county property, growing out in some simple hoop house structures, growing out some mushrooms, and beginning to experiment with soil testing to see what kind of mushrooms have what kind of effect on the toxins in the soil. According to Paul Stamets and many other researchers, fungi eats plastic, digests petroleum waste that's in the soil, including PCBs, takes that, eats it, because fungi are the great breakdowners of all matter. They eat everything. They are found in all sorts of places, including nuclear reactors, because they can eat anything. So the potential for breaking down even radiation byproducts in the soil is immense. There is some literature, but it's fairly cutting edge right now, and I'm just trying to get up to speed with the entire realm of mushrooms, fungi, the kingdom. Apparently, according to Paul Stamets, the life on Earth was regenerated from the last great extinction, where 95% of life on the Earth was lost, and it was the fungi that survived and broke down all the toxins and made nutrients available to all the other kingdoms, the plants and the animal kingdoms, as they came back. These are the kind of allies we need to have on our side, we need to begin conversations with and work with. And I got really turned on at this mushroom workshop this past week up in near Eugene, Oregon. Highly recommend them, and I'm going to continue to work with them and get more info as I move along. They're very supportive of micro-remediation projects. Really needed in Fort Wayne and the Midwest. So I'm so excited I can't even say. And it's another simple technology. Actually, mushroom growing takes some work, and I'm still filling in the gaps of how it all works. I'm a gardener and a farmer, but I haven't grown mushrooms before, so really looking forward to getting into that. Point number 4 of the 5, you can read about this on the site down here, but I'm just going over a little verbal presentation. Point 4 is compassionate economics, or compassionate economies. Working with Marshall Rosenberg and others work, Max Friedman, Max Neef. There actually are numerous people who are the Ubuntu movement who wanted to get into an economy that's not based in this debt-based money and capitalism, which is consuming the earth and leaving toxic byproducts. The contribution economy allows us to actually move forward and begin to exchange in ways that are far more abundant for all parties involved. They do take a certain amount of work to learn how to make requests clearly and practice that and make offers clearly and negotiate. I'm so used to saying, how much does it cost? Well, what are you charging? And the link I have in the text below here is for a lovely intro by Marshall Rosenberg at one of his workshops a few years back that discusses the difference in an approach where we're not charging or paying money fees, but rather negotiating what people would enjoy giving and receiving. It sounds kind of idealistic, but when I've been involved with it, it's fabulous, and it offers us a way to practice a transition to whatever the next economy is going to be. A lot of levels it looks like the money economy is shifting. The enormous national debts and international debts and the ecological aspects are just immense. So if we can begin to completely non-violently, with this kind of activism, move forward, I want to be a part of that. And if we can begin exchanging in ways that are more direct, then I'm very happy to be a part of that. The number 5 on my list is going to be, excuse me while the phone gets picked up. Number 5 is, it's kind of a catch-all. Mobile homesteading. It refers to really, I'm lumping in a lot of things there. All the things I want to do and be mobile to do, to connect with groups that are working on innovative projects that are also simple, like this, the community-based habitat regeneration. But it specifically, it calls to value-added house sitting, where I'm taking care of animals or initiating permaculture projects. I do have a design course under my belt, and I'm going to be at a farm for 7 weeks here with a permaculture instructor of many years that I'm headed to tomorrow to brush up on skills and regain that perspective, that permaculture, and how it all fits together in working with the land. I've been a part of organic farms for a couple seasons in recent years, last couple of years, and I've done my own gardens. So any of that fits together in the system of ways I can offer skills to communities and to others in exchange, in mutually beneficial exchanges, where we're growing food together, detoxifying land, working on urban food forests, joining with native peoples in their needs for protecting their land and those actions, including up in New Brunswick, where they're trying to get the provincial government to stop spraying glyphosate on 100,000 acres of their forests up there. I'd love to be part of those kind of actions. I'd love to connect more with native peoples and their wisdom around the world and what they have to offer to this conversation of maintaining and regenerating the land. In some ways, we're way, way behind and just getting started in learning what this conversation is about here in the dominant culture. Bicycle advocacy, hemp growing. Hemp has the potential to sequester massive amounts of carbon, the equivalent of a forest, every year. And if we can maintain that sequestration in things like hempcrete construction, well, then we sequester that carbon for 50, 100 years, as long as that house remains standing. I'd love to be a part of that too. Those are some of the projects I'd like to be working on this year. So, your support is encouraged, welcomed. I would love to collaborate. Financial support is welcome in this crowdfunding campaign. It's not really necessary right now. It may determine how my summer progresses, if I can really dive into some of these projects. But I'm moving forward on my own savings right now into this work. And collaborations, feedback, keeping in touch, new ideas, things you would like to do. It's really open-ended. Creating online groups, holistic groups, empathy practice groups, compassionate economy groups. I'm just wanting to stir it up a little bit so we can begin to move forward. I'm very excited. It looks like a very packed year. I will probably get back to Oregon to do some more work with Fungi for the People, and after that get back to Fort Wayne and begin some of these projects in the spring. Leave notes. Stay connected. You can sign up for the email updates as they come out. Sorry for the light quality of this video. It's what I've got right now on my travels. But I just wanted to get this out and get our project started. Thank you for your attention and your caring for the future generations too. Be in touch.